welcome back to another episode of Queens Vantage podcast. Well, I think I have a really amazing, extraordinary, if you may, episode for you today. It's not every day that you get to sit down and interview your superhero, but today I get to do just that. Imagine being about 7 years old and you're in the car with your father, and he often picks up hitchhikers. It's a true story. And you get kind of used to it. You're terrified, but you don't know quite how to say it because your dad's 6'3", he's strong, and you know that he'll protect you. Well, one day we pick up someone and I'm like, who is this guy? He's different and he's talking to me, unlike many of the hitchhikers. And my brother gets into the car. Well, I learned then that it's my brother. And he gets into the car and he becomes more than just a big brother. He becomes a dad. And he becomes my superhero. And I truly believe that this incredible human being that I'm with today saved me from darkness. But we're here today because my brother, Ollie Allen, has wrote a children's book. And I think it's just absolutely amazing because of who he is and who he's been to me. And I really want to share this. This interview is very special for me. I want to share my brother and the book that he wrote. Ollie, welcome to Queens Vantage podcast.
Thank you so much, Ebony. As much as you say I've saved you, you definitely saved me. I remember that day getting in the car and just falling in love with you. And you were my sister. Nobody had to tell me anything. I remember Dad rolling on about whatever he was saying and telling me, oh, you need to protect her. I was like, bet, say less. I got her. You don't even have to worry about it. The evenings of you bribing me with to take you to Burger King so you would do your homework, even though you were a straight A student, me bringing all my reptiles to your elementary school for show and tell.
And pizza.
And pizza. You have been a huge part of my heart from the day I met you, and it's blessings that I get to call you my little sister.
Aw, I love you, Oj.
I love you too, Ed.
Well, we have to talk about your book today.
Please, yes.
And congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
You'll hear me, it's interchangeable. I'll say OJ from time to time because I don't say Ali.
Right.
But this is my brother, OJ, and he's written a children's book called Shiver. Can you show the camera?
Yeah, so this book is really special because my wife, actually, Autumn Grace Allen, she, for the better of 5 years, we've been together for 10. We've been married for 6. But for the better of 5 years, she was like, you need to put it on paper. I coached for 20 years. I have always told all the kids stories. I told you stories when you were little. And I never looked at it really as an avenue to express and promote, all of this imagination and put it in one place where people could kind of, pass it on to their kids and invoke a feeling of imagination and that type of wonder. And so because my wife and your sister-in-law is so affectionately obstinate and pushy, that's how Shiver got here.
Yeah. Well, what inspired this particular book, Shiver? What inspired you to write this book?
Well, I don't see a lot of Black children in Goosebumps type of stories. Mm-hmm. So I wanted us to be not only represented, but representative of the genre. And I also wanted it to be like, you don't have to be Black to like enjoy the book.
Yeah.
But you can also see things from a different perspective. And I think what we're lacking now is the willingness to see things from different perspectives, the willingness to celebrate diversity and strive for equity. That's the kind of thing that I wanted to do. But it doesn't mean you can't have a good time while you're doing it. And
Absolutely.
So that's a major component of Shiver.
Well, representation is so important. I know when I first saw the cover, when you sent it to me, and I saw myself. I was looking at that cover and I saw a kid that looked like me when I was a kid. And like you said, I was a huge fan of Goosebumps, but I didn't find myself in those stories. It was more imaginative, where I could see other kids living out this fantasy world, but I didn't quite see myself.
That's exact. It's like from your mouth, and my mind, it's like the two things are aligned perfectly. That's exactly it. I wanted kids to not have to replace the character they're reading about.
Yeah.
I wanted them to feel like, what if that was me? Because when they read the stories, they hear about, the beautiful braided hair.
Yes.
They hear about, the different complexities of what these kids are doing when they're faced with these, ferocious or funny monsters. And they can say, I wonder what I would do. And then they can talk to their parents about it. And they can say, hey, Mom, Dad, what would you do if this happened to me?
Yes.
And I just feel like it opens up wonder. And when you have wonder, you bring people together.
Yes. Well, I certainly appreciate this because as a mother of a 12-year-old who's reading your book now.
Wow, that's so crazy.
And it's just it's so exciting to watch him, like see himself in the story. And to be able, and one, the vocabulary in the book is just so incredible. So he's like, Mom, what does that mean? And we're looking up words and, giving him kind of this greater, like expansive, words that he could use later in life. And it's so exciting to see. But also, like I said, seeing him see himself in the stories.
And when you talk about the vocabulary, I was blessed with a mom who is a teacher, and my mom actually made me fall in love with reading, Octavia Butler, Stephen King, Richard Wright, and of course, Maya Angelou. And so I wanted to make sure that there is challenging vocabulary because kids aren't dumb.
Yes.
We have, I think, a tendency to kind of dilute things for kids, and they can do so much. We can learn from kids.
Absolutely.
So if we can learn from kids, why not have some challenging vocabulary? Why not stretch the boundaries of what they call things or what they know things to be? Why can't the extraordinary become common to them? Because it's something they familiarize themselves with. So, yeah, it was important for me to have something that's very readable, very digestible. But yeah, there's one or two things in there where you go, hey, what is that? Or I've never called that before.
Yes.
So it's important.
Yes. What do you want kids to really glean from your book?
So, I coached a long time. I coached for 20 years. But when I coached football, the coaching aspect of it wasn't the important part. The important part was having people, these little people, all ages and sizes, believe in themselves more than anybody else believed in them. Yeah. When I wrote this and I got the support of my wife, I got the support of you, my nephews, my kids, I want them to understand that imagination belongs to everybody. Yes. That I'm a thread in the tapestry of what we should be cultivating.
Absolutely.
And so if they can wonder, if they can dream, if they can contemplate greatness for themselves, they can achieve it. Anybody can put a picture on paper and it becomes art. Yes. Anybody can put words on paper and it becomes a book. You just have to believe in yourself more than anybody else believes in you.
Yeah. So tell me, what was most challenging about this project for you?
I didn't think it was good enough.
Really?
I really didn't. And I think that that's what held me back initially when my wife was pushing me to write it. Yeah. I was like, it's great for you guys. If I have, Nugget, or I have the Genius, if I have Ladybug or Monkey Frog or Did, if I have Butterfly, they love my stories.
By the way, all the kids have nicknames.
Yeah, that's it.
These are my children included with other nieces and nephews. So it's so funny hearing it. But
yeah, it's just, I felt like you guys love me. So that was my talent, making the people I love enjoy what I was writing or enjoy the stories that I was telling.
Yeah.
But I had to get past that, and I had to say, you're telling people to believe in themselves more than anybody else does. Yeah. Why don't you?
Yeah.
And once I could resign myself to kind of practicing what I preached, it came, and I was able to move past these stumbling blocks. It stopped being what's the right thing to say with, and turned into instead, what do you feel?
Yes.
And what do you want to evoke from the person who's reading it? How do you want that kid to feel when she's reading it under her covers and she's supposed to be in bed? Or how do you want that little boy to feel when he sees himself in the character?
Yeah.
It's important that we believe in ourselves. We have to be our biggest cheerleaders first. I have great cheerleaders. I have you, I have my wife, I have my kids, my nieces and nephews, loved ones, family. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
But do I rely on all of those people to be my number one cheerleader? Or do I first invest in myself and become confident on what I can do so I can share that with the people I love? There's a difference.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because I would have never guessed that. You have been so instrumental in my life and teaching me to believe in myself and to love myself. And so I never would have guessed that. But, I think that's very vulnerable of you to share that. What would you say to someone who has a book? And I have a book that I've been writing, rewriting.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say to other authors out there, especially authors that look like us, to say, like, you can do this, but there's going to be challenges along the way, right? There's going to be roadblocks.
Yes.
But you can get through it. So any advice that you would give to any writers out there that's like, they have this book inside of them, but they know that they want to get it out?
I would just say, do it. Struggle. It's painful. It's frustrating. There were nights where I was up till, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I got to get ready for work.
Yeah.
But that's part of the process. And what you have to say is important.
Yes.
Don't discount yourself ever. Don't ever think that for this genre or my life story, or it's important. You are part of what makes the human experience so special. Don't ever discount yourself. Don't ever set yourself aside. Always strive to embrace that pain, to embrace those stumbling blocks, to embrace those frustrations. Write a page and walk away.
Yeah.
Go do something fun. Go relax, meditate, whatever you need to do, and then come back to it. There's no shame in that. Nobody is expecting you to crank out a novel in a night.
Yeah.
That's not realistic, and you shouldn't put that pressure on yourself either.
Yeah. How long would you say this project from beginning to end took you?
The better of a year.
Yeah.
The better of a year. And there was a lot of fighting with myself.
Yeah.
Because there were times where I was like, maybe this is a pipe dream. Maybe I'll never, get to see it in print. Maybe the stories will just swirl around in my head and I'll continue telling them, in like the oral fashion with, the kids, with you guys. But I prayed a lot about it.
Yeah.
And I think that one thing that I'm learning is not just when I'm down, but before I do anything, I want to pray about it.
Yeah.
And see what he says, because the pathway he has laid out for me, it's there. It's not tattered ever. It's never, full of debris. It's a pathway that he made for me especially. And I want other people, regardless of your religion or your denomination, spiritually speaking, you have a place here.
Yes.
And it's your place. And without you being here, we miss out as human beings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So tell me, how has your faith changed since getting your book out there in the stores, on Amazon?
Yeah.
Like, how has your faith changed?
It's been strengthened. It's been strengthened. And I think that everything has just been proven. And it's kind of like, it sounds kind of flippant, but it's kind of like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, why did you even doubt? Why did you even think that this couldn't come to fruition? And I think that that's the limitation of man and the limitation of woman.
Yes.
Because our imaginations were given to us by a higher power.
Absolutely.
And when we couple that with our faith that the work we put in will be done, how can we fail?
Yeah.
It's just time. And it's not our time. It's his time.
Yes. And if God is for us,
who can be against
who
us?
can be against us?
That's exactly right.
So I have a question for you. So, of course, we grew up together.
We did.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful for that. I was
Me too,
still chuckling to myself about bribing you to take me to Burger King to do homework that I needed to get done. But I've digressed. I always saw you as a protector and really like the fatherly side of you. Do you feel that influenced your writing of a children's book?
You know what? Not at first. But it took my wife to really bring that idea home.
Yeah.
And I remember when you were little, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. I remember you were very straight-laced. I just felt like I had to protect that. I didn't want your dreams to be crushed, because what you're doing now, your podcasting and just who you are as a person, your aura, I saw it when I met you back when you were 7. I felt it. There was something about you I couldn't really put my finger on. I couldn't say it out loud. I didn't know the proper words.
Yeah.
But I think the wanting to be fatherly comes from me coaching, comes from how I love my nephews and my nieces, how I love my kids. And I think that when I started putting everything together and just kind of listening to people important in my life, like you, like my wife, like, Manuela, it really, Manuela's my other sister,
Yes.
who's the other part of my heart.
Yes.
But
yes.
it really brought me to a place where there's no boundaries. There's
Yeah.
no limitations, But if I can digress for a second.
Yes, let's
You
digress.
guys don't know this about her.
Oh,
okay?
Lord, what is he about to say?
But when I was a young dad, I didn't know what I was doing. I just didn't. And this beautiful young lady here, she helped me with my son. I was working. I was trying to, make ends meet. And she was a kid herself, and she was taking care of my kid. So when I say that there is a indescribable gratitude that I have, I think that's how I have to put it. There's an indescribable gratitude, because without you helping me with OJ when he was really, really young, where he is and his successes that he's experiencing and the successes that I'm experiencing now, I don't know if it would have happened like this, to be honest.
Thank you, Oj. I appreciate you saying that. We'll stay here for a minute. I've been blessed with, I don't even know how many nieces and nephews I have. I probably know more so how many nieces I have than nephews, but it's a lot of them. And I've been very fortunate to play like a more maternal role in some of their lives.
Yeah.
And I remember when OJ was born, like I remember seeing him as a baby. I mean, he was just the cutest little fluffy baby. And it was such a pleasure to be there. And, I think I was so fortunate at a young age to have a bunch of nieces and nephews, because I think it really helped me as a mom, that nurturing side of myself,
Oh, absolutely.
for my own children. Yeah. But let's just say this, you sacrifice so much for me, because what some folks know and many folks don't know is that I grew up with 2 parents, our father and my mother, who struggled with addiction. And I spent a lot of time raising myself.
Yes, you did.
I spent a lot of time trying to teach myself right from wrong. And luckily, my grandmother, my Gloria, raised me in a church so that I always had a foundation, and I always knew that there was something, there was a source that was so much higher than myself. I knew what God's love felt like because I experienced that growing up through my grandparents. But then you came in and you have been by my side through everything. I mean, and it hasn't always been pretty, right? Like
No.
I fought against it.
Yes.
But you have been by my side through, we were there when I got married. You were there when I got divorced. You were there when my children were born. But not only that, going back to when I was a child, you were there for the pivotal years. Like, you protected me from the darkness in the world. And I remember, and I know you remember, there was a little altercation up at King's Market, and I just saw bodies moving and flying, and here comes my superhero, my brother, like, get away from my sister. You were always there. I don't know where the cape is. I'm sure it's under your shirt, but you sacrificed so much to be a dad to me when I didn't have one growing up. And so to see you live out your dreams now and to pour so much of yourself, so much of your heart and your soul into this book. And I remember talking to you when you first started writing it, when you would be in your garage or man cave,
Right.
you know, you were putting in the work and the effort. And so it is a sincere honor and a deep congratulations for you to be putting out Shiver, because it's not only is it an incredible body of work, but it's also just, it represents who you are as a person, right? There's like love and there's tenderness and there's joy and there's strength in your book. And we all get to bear witness of that. And we all get to have a piece of that. And now my kids are reading a book written by their uncle.
Yeah.
Like, how special is that?
It's so special. It's just it. And then even like, you know, my little OJ and, my Ladybug Taylor and
Yes.
you know, Did and Bella, like them, like buying a copy of it. It's like crazy to think
Yes.
about. But you touched upon something that I think really encapsulates our relationship, because as you needed a dad, I needed you. Remember, I left home at 17.
Yeah.
It was a very tumultuous time for me. You know, I had Manuela, but Manuela was 60 miles away. And even though we talked every single day and she always tried to hold me up and always tried to make me feel like no time had passed and her love was undeniable, she wasn't in my face and I wasn't in hers. And it was a difficult time. So when you came, you let me love you. You let me, you know, be there to enjoy your triumphs and to wipe your tears. I remember when you first started and I was making jokes because I thought, oh, I'm going to make her see that, you know, starting your period is no big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And
There
you
was that
bawled and I had to understand that, like, it's not a joking thing. It's like a scary, like, what do I do kind of thing. But we went through all of these like ups and downs, learning each other.
Yeah.
You taught me how to mature in a lot of areas where, with me being by myself, maybe I wouldn't be the guy that I am right now. And I
don't
mean
know.
that. I mean, like I said, me and Manuela were very tight, but I didn't have the advantage of having her there. And when you came, the things that I think make Manuela love me as her brother, you helped me maintain that.
Thank you.
And it's very it's a sobering thought, because my life could have been a lot different if God didn't insert you there at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, well, I am so thankful. I thank God all the time for our relationship. And yes, you were such an incredible big brother, but you were super annoying. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do remember starting my period and crying because you were making jokes.
Not my most
But you also
proudest
were the one that
moment.
would take me to the grocery store every month to get pads, right?
Remember, I used to keep them in my car? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, you were amazing at trying to raise a preteen, little girl into preteen. And it's interesting now, because even though that was something at the time, like when I was 12 and you don't understand, like, why is my brother making jokes? And now hindsight, like looking back, I was actually just talking to the boys the other day and I was like, my period's coming. And they were like, okay. And I'm like, and I'm going to be crabby. And they're like, okay. But you made something that is taboo to talk about and uncomfortable, something that I'm actually now comfortable saying and sharing. And I realized, like, with my own boys, is that I'm not raising like children, I'm raising someone's partner. And one day their partners are going to have periods. And the first time they hear about a period shouldn't be when they get with a woman.
Right.
So it's interesting now when I look at it and I'm like, something that was super uncomfortable for me then has actually shaped me into who I am now and being comfortable. And I can make jokes and I can laugh with, I have boys and I can laugh with my boys about it. And they can be like, you're being crabby. Do you want some tea?
Right.
So it's,
But you've always been like that as a mom. Like, I think that you have taken all the love that your mom gave to you, but you've harnessed it in a different way, so that I think hurt people.
Yeah.
And our parents have been through some things. You know, Dad went to Vietnam, and I can't even
that affected
the
him.
little bit that he talked to me about it.
Yeah.
I can understand now.
Yeah.
As a kid, I couldn't understand
Yeah.
because you can't fathom that kind of horror. But as an adult, you understand. And I think the thing that I love about you, and I know my kids love about you, is you are more than an aunt to them.
Thank you.
You have, it's more of a talk to me as if you felt that your deepest, darkest secret was never put into the air.
Yeah.
That's the trust that they have. You know
And
what I'm saying?
The same for my boys with you.
Oh
I mean,
my
to
God,
hear,
I love them.
like the fact that you call Genius, I say Ree, but Kyrie will call you and talk to you, and he doesn't call and talk to anybody. And I show up at your house, and you're like, "Oh, I'm on the phone with the Genius right now." And
Right.
I love that, and I love that we both equally have relationships with each other's children.
Yes.
You know, like I feel like I know your kids, and I know that you know my kids.
Yes.
So I love that. And I thank God for you. I say, you know, part of the journey in better understanding like who we are is also understanding that our parents were humans, right?
Yes.
They were like before mom and dad, before man and woman, like they're human beings, and they had human experiences. And with dad, one of the ways that I was able to forgive him, you know, for not being there, forgiving his absence, was he gave me the greatest dad that I could possibly have, and that was you. He just did. And so dad understood that he couldn't be the father that he needed to be for me. So he was like, yo, OJ, you're going to raise her, you know? And in a perfect world, would that exist? No, but we're meant to be imperfect.
Right.
And I think that's what builds character. You know, like the fact that, you know, like you're my brother, father, and we joke about that so much. But I think it shaped me into the woman that I am today.
Definitely.
To have like you, when I call you, I know that you're coming.
Likewise.
It's like, there's no question about it.
No, there isn't. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Miss Podcast
Okay.
Extraordinaire.
Well, thank you.
Why did you ever doubt that you would get to this point? Because I used to talk to you when you were a little girl, and I would tell you how beautiful you were and how brilliant you were, and you would shyly say, "Oh, I'm not that smart. I'm not that pretty." But what has changed for you from the time when we first met to now to have you absolutely claiming how bad you are?
Oh, wow. Humbly.
Yes, ma'am.
Humbly. You know, so much has changed in my life just over the past, since I've been on this earth. But I would say within the last 10 years, I've been on a journey of self and getting to know myself and love myself. And I think as a child, I finally realized, like, as a child, I did not feel like I fit in with my family. I grew up with the gang members, the drug dealers, with a mother that was like, you know, owned dope and sold dope, you know?
Right.
So I grew up in that environment, and then I tethered over with a praying grandmother and being heavily Seventh-day Adventist and growing up in the church. So I kind of lived in these two different worlds.
Right.
And I didn't quite feel like I ever fit in. And so when you're navigating on one side of it, you're like, I don't fit in here. And you go over here and you know all these bad things are happening in one household, but you can't say it in the other household because that's forbidden, that's sin. You just don't really believe that your existence like means something.
Well, that's tough.
And I had to realize that actually what made me different made me special. And the fact that I could go and be in a dope house, a trap house, like for real, right? Like I saw people moving in and out of my house all the time. And I knew how to survive in that household, but I also knew how to go to my other household and pray for what I saw. And I remember I learned to pray for my mom and over her addiction. Wow. And I remember sitting outside my mother's room, and I would be hearing her flicking that lighter, smoking dope. And I would be praying for her. And I feel like that became a superpower for me, right? So not only just being able to pray for people, but learning to pray for myself, because there was a period in time where I did all the praying for everyone else. And God told me to start praying for myself. And when I started praying for myself, I started seeing myself, and not just what was good in me, but I saw what was ugly in me too, right? Because when you navigate those worlds, you pick up from both sides. And I started learning things about myself that was, unpure, and how I showed up in relationships and friendships, and being selfish. And so I had to really see myself. And I said, so from that journey of not fitting in, learning how to navigate worlds, and then understanding like who I am as a person, how I show up, where I'm strong, where I'm weak, I got a chance to see that like I'm a mosaic piece, right? There's beauty in myself. There's beauty in what I create. And it's a journey. I don't get up every day and feel beautiful, but I can tell you 91% of the time now, I get up and I can honestly say that I love myself. And that I'm proud of myself, and I'm not ashamed of like who I am. And I think that's the biggest misconception about me is people project onto me that I'm perfect. They don't understand what I've gone through to get here, to sit here.
Right.
And they don't understand that, no, I'm not a person that you're not going to catch me on social media telling you all of my family's dirty laundry or telling you every bad day that I have. Because I believe in prayer, and I believe in healing, and then I believe in sharing from that healing.
Right.
But if someone was to sit down and have a conversation with me, they'd see that I'm just this mosaic piece just like them, And so it's just been a journey. It's been a journey of really loving myself, like really talking to God, and not asking God to just show me that I'm beautiful. Show me where I'm ugly, because that's a part of me too. And now I can sit here and say like, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm so unbothered when people try to tell me who I am. I actually laugh, and some of it might be true. Some of that might have been who I was.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm not ashamed of that, because it's a part of my story. It's a part of my journey. And I think a huge piece is that I got these beautiful boys, right? I see their eyes on me. I see them watching me. I hear how they talk about me. And it's like, I can't give up. And I can't not believe in myself when I'm instilling in them that you are everything. Like I tell my kids all the time, God made you great.
Absolutely.
He did his part. You got to do yours. So that's a long answer to your question.
No, it's the answer I was looking for, because I'm telling you, this person I see before me, I saw her when she was 7.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Oj.
Of course.
That means the world to me. Well,
the world to us.
I have some more questions for you.
Sure.
So on Queens Vantage, we're all about purpose over popularity. What does purpose mean to you as an author?
It means being genuine. I'm not going to write about anything that's not appealing to my spirit, because then it's fake to everybody else's. So I'm not really a trend kind of guy. And you know me.
Yeah.
I don't float on trends or anything like that. But it's important that everything I do is purposeful, and it shows that I care enough about how I express myself so other people can take it in, and then they can spread that to others as well.
Yeah. Well, now it's time for some fun questions. Okay.
I'm ready.
And then I do want you to read just a short piece of the book to our audience. But before we get there, I just want to ask you just some questions that I think are very lighthearted and fun. You ready?
I'm ready.
So if your book was turned into a cartoon, because I believe in dreaming big.
Yes, indeed.
What celebrity would you want to narrate the story?
It would have to be, there's probably 3. It would have to be either Denzel Washington, Samuel Jackson, and if I could bring him back, Bernie Mac.
Oh, man. Okay, you pretty much hit it out the house with those 3. I mean, I couldn't think of 3 better people to narrate a story. Yeah, that's amazing. What was your favorite children's book when you were growing up?
Ooh. Wow. My favorite. Probably, and I say this because it was my favorite book, and then it was also Taylor's favorite book. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish.
I love it.
And Taylor had me read that to the point, and I have to do voices. Every single character has to have their own specific voice. So I would probably say that, just because when I was her age, as you know, a 5-6-year-old, I read it like a million times. And then when she was, 4 through 7, she had me reading that to her every single night.
I love it. That's Kyson and I. It was Green Eggs and Ham.
Oh, yes.
I can pretty much recite that from beginning to end.
It's Green Eggs and Ham is in the pantheon of those books.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Dr. Seuss is definitely a hero when it comes to writing children's books, for sure. The generation of kids coming up have so much access to the internet and to devices, and I think that we're really losing the craft of reading,
right?
And also just having that book in your hand. Like, I love the smell. That's probably sounds crazy, but like when I got your book, I was like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I love fresh,
hear you.
The paper, the printing. So for the kids that are watching, and there's a child out there like, but why would I read that book, right? Because it's a lost art form these days. Right. What would you say to that child?
Well, I'd probably tell you, if you read Shiver, you're going to be there. You're going to be there when the monster comes from underneath the bed.
Yeah.
You're going to be there when the little girl is afraid to tell her parents that her beautiful little plant has turned into something that eats meat. You're going to see it. You're going to get goosebumps on the back of your neck. You're going to say, oh my gosh, what would I do? And the difference between seeing it in a video and seeing it in a movie is you can put yourself in that scene and you can feel all of that, and you can come back to it over and over as much as you want. And every time you read it, you're going to find something different that you didn't see when you originally read it. So I guarantee you, Shiver, and not just Shiver, but books in general, will take you where you want to go. And you do not have to pay the recurring fee to rent it. It's right in your hands. So please check a book out. Check my book out, but also check a book out.
Why don't you show them the book again? Look at that beautiful cover. Yes. Well, can you just read, just open it and just read a little something to the audience?
She slept peacefully, her slumbering mind whirling with dreams. In this stillness of night, the corner of her bed lifted from the floor slowly and carefully. The thing with teeth and claws slid from beneath the bed, pulling its thick, prehensile tail from under the bed last. Its beastly, scaly body, tufted with woolly pink fur, was striped by the lunar light bleeding through the partially closed blinds. The thing with teeth and claws blinked its glossy trio of oval eyes as it tilted its head to the left and peered thoughtfully at the moon. She giggled in her sleep. The thing with teeth and claws smiled and yawned, moonlight glinting off the serrated knives that lined its maw. Its 3 oval eyes blinked again from left to right as it looked over its huge shoulder at her. The shadows in the room seemed to shift as the thing with teeth and claws crawled towards her and then peered over the edge of her bed.
Thank you. You can find Ollie's book on Amazon, and I will make sure that I provide the link for you all. And also, can folks follow you on social media?
Yes, so I am in the process of getting the social media set up for it. Of course, Queen Vantage is going to be a huge part of that because we have the most extraordinary way for my book to actually get out to all of you in the public. But please look very soon for OllieJAllen4.com. We're going to have a bunch of things for kids to do as far as what do you think the monsters look like from the book. We're going to have tips for parents to help bring back bedtime stories. And we're just going to give you guys a whole bunch of content for you to be excited about, along with upcoming projects that I'm working on.
Yeah. And here's what I would like for you all to do, because you will be seeing this episode before Halloween. Go ahead and purchase the book. And rather than giving kids unhealthy snacks and candy, drop one of the books into their trick-or-treat bags. Why not? Ollie, thank you so much for joining us today and pouring so much of your heart and soul into this project. I think that you've reminded all of us here, all of the Royals watching, that it's never too late to get started. Yeah. And there will be road bumps and, you know, some disbelief sometimes in ourselves, but we have to just continue to remind ourselves that we can do anything.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. We will make sure that we continue to share the book, the link, and how to find you on social media, what your website is. So we'll make sure that we keep the Royals updated with all of your contact information. Thank you so much for being my hero, my superhero growing up. Thank you for creating this body of work so that kids that look like our children can grow up believing that we can have spooky stories too. Absolutely. And that we can see ourselves in those stories. It's just been an absolute pleasure and an honor to have my big brother, Ollie James Allen IV, here on Queens Vantage Podcast. Listen, that's been another episode of Queens Vantage Podcast, but we want you to continue to stay connected to us. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We'll see you back here for another episode. Until then, remember that the crown will tilt, but it will never fall off.
You are amazing.
You are amazing. Thank you.
I just feel like...